Vande Mataram. I am Rajarajan from Gandhian Initiative for Social Transformation, Chennai, India. On this occasion of the 152nd birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, let us look at the kind of democracy we are and how to improve that. The world is facing far too many problems, but for a few natural calamities, all other problems are man-made, more specifically created by the political ruling class. Even in an avowed democracy like India, the people are getting a raw deal from the ruling dispensation, and not to speak of the admitted autocracies. We are supposed to be a representative democracy. Then why are we not getting a people-friendly government? And why the so-called representatives hardly represent the people's will? The reason is in the very democratic setup called party-based democracy and the first past post system of elections of representatives. The people in reality are bestowed with the right only to vote once in 5 years to choose one among the contesting lot, most of whom are either not known to the people or are criminals and antisocials. Should the people not have a say in selecting the candidates? In this first past post system of elections, with only about 65% of the voters choosing to vote, the candidate getting some 30 odd percentage of votes polled getting elected, we have representatives enjoying hardly 20% support of the voters. Again, a party or an alliance getting 50% plus seats in a governing body gets the right to rule, meaning we are ruled by a group enjoying support of hardly 10% of voters. The rulers with 10% support rule over remaining 90% also. How can we expect them to represent the 90% who didn't vote for them in the first place? The political parties themselves don't practice inner party democracy. The candidates are nominated by the leaders without any regard for the opinion of even the workers and the members of the party in the particular constituency. The parties are heavily funded by the corporate houses and money bags. How can they represent us then? They represent only the interest of the money bags and corporate houses and are willing to dance to their tunes. In turn, the winning candidates also represent their interest only. Elections thus are just a formality to get legal sanction for the choice of the money bags. Thus, what we have is no democracy at all. It is demonocracy or corporatocracy. Democracy is defined as rule by the people, for the people, and of the people. In reality, what we have is rule by the hooligans, for the looters, and of the criminals. Small parties and social activist groups have tried joining hands and nominating joint candidates and also honest candidates as an alternative. These candidates may be much more desirable and acceptable, but even they are mostly self-nominated or at the best nominated by a small group of men, and they do not represent the people in any way. They fail to impress the voters. The people prefer a known devil to an unknown angel. They vote only for any leading frontline party candidates or the ones supported by them. Thus, our dream of getting real representative government remains a dream. Instead of choosing to vote for a known devil in the place of an unknown angel, if alone we can guide the people to vote for a known angel, will it not assure us of a true representative democracy? If alone we can make the people themselves select a candidate and nominate, they can own the candidate and vote. This will lead to a true democracy. But how can we make 15 lakh voters of a constituency as for the national parliament or 1 to 3 lakh as for the provincial assemblies sit together and narrow down on a single candidate? In fact, how can we even expect 15 lakh voters or 1 to 3 lakh voters to even know the candidates well enough to make a considered choice as at present? But in villages for the local body wards, we have as few as 200 voters in many places. They must be from as few as 50 families. They can gather and pick a representative among themselves for their ward. Extending this to the other areas, we can gather people as street residence committees of 200 to 300 voters residing in some 50 to 75 homes. Their representatives from 10 street committees will constitute an area committee, and their representatives in turn forming a large area committee, a state assembly constituency committee, and a parliament constituency committee respectively. In consultation through these committees, a people's candidate can be nominated for all the levels of governance from village panchayat to the parliament. Their role will be not only to select their representatives, they will function as residents' welfare associations in the normal days and as watchdogs to audit the working of government schemes and projects in their respective areas. The representatives at various levels will be empowered to be a bridge between the people and the government. In fact, even while the process of transformation is in progress, as the committees are formed, the executives as well as the administration will be able to do anything against the will of the people only at their own peril. The members thus voted will truly represent the people. This will bring about a true democracy, a real democracy, and a grassroots democracy. This will lead to fairness and justice. This will be the real empowerment of the people. Once the system comes into existence, we can change the pattern of elections to have direct elections only at the street committee level, and at all other levels it will be indirect. Thus, the people's committees will elect the members of the governing bodies directly instead of selecting the people's candidates. This system will have the right to recall and referendum built in. This system will have the right to recall and referendum built in. We will not need separate laws for them. We do not need any new law or amendments to any existing laws to bring about this change. This is not even a new idea. Democracy evolved only like this. Gandhiji advocated this. The Indian Constitution envisaged this only. And later in the 70s, Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan advocated this only. There is no mention of political party in the Constitution of India. Only individuals are supposed to contest. With this system in place, the massive expenses by the Election Commission to conduct the elections will all be gone. The huge splurging by the political party for elections will be gone too, and with that a huge chunk of corruption and bribery. With true representatives sitting in the governing bodies, corruption and atrocities by the executive and the administration will no longer be a rule but be relegated to being exceptions. If we have to stop the further march of the devils of the party-based political system and graduate to a true democracy, we will need to work towards this. The system can be defined as gather, select. The system can be defined as gather, search, select, nominate, and elect mode of empowerment of the people. It can be called participatory democracy in short. This will lead to Subiksha, well-being of all. We call upon all the socio-political activists. To reorient themselves to achieve this in quick time. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amridam Gamaya. O Lord, lead us from falsehood to truth, darkness to light, ignorance to bliss, destruction to everlasting peace. Thank you.